Hello everyone, today I'll be yapping about Pyro TF2, my favorite class in the game. Reasons for Pyro TF2 being my favorite class in the game are gas masks, flame, and extremely complex weapon that Pyro possesses, aka the flamethrower. The thing that makes Pyro, Pyro. The thing that makes Pyro annoying to fight against. The one and only W plus M1 thing. And I bloody love it. It's awesome. And there are many reasons why. But the biggest one is it's very complex and fun to use. And at the same time it's very simple. Let's start with the most obvious thing. It throws flames at you. And the flames are projectiles. The particles linger for some time, which allows you to do funny flame traps that just hit the enemy. When the enemy chases you down, you just go behind a corner and just put a little bit of flame to meet them before they finally face you, so they'll take some damage beforehand. Now speaking of damage, afterburn is a very good mechanic, very well thought out. Well, it wasn't before 2017, but after 2017 it became a very well thought out mechanic, because in case of flamethrower you have to be dedicated to make your enemies burn and to finish them with afterburn. Like, you have to be really dedicated WM1ing. And if you are not, or you're just putting some flame traps, they're gonna do a little bit of damage. They're gonna do a few ticks. That will definitely deal something, just do something. I don't know. Maybe it will force them to take a tiny little trip to the health pack. Or maybe, just maybe it will finish them off because it's their low HP in the first place. Who knows? The other thing that your flamethrower can do is just block enemies' vision. So, like many other pyros, I suffer from sniper sightlines. And then I remember that I can just press M1 and try to spin like a madman, not even like a cheater, just like a madman, just to block out the vision for the sniper. And this is very helpful actually, because flames just have insane, I don't know, they have insane capabilities of blocking vision. This is not as good as Counter-Strike's flashbang, but it's definitely something that can help you and your team. Because imagine if there's, I don't know, someone hiding behind you, trying to get through with you, some tiny scout or engineer, and you just press M1, and the enemy can't see your teammates, and then they just get ambushed by them or something, I don't know. Okay, this scenario in particular is not very realistic, but you get the idea. Flame blocking out vision is very versatile for many reasons. And not only that, it just can help you in 1v1s. Cause like, you know, you can move. The opponent can move too, but you can still block out their vision, which is very awesome. And the most awesome thing that flamethrower has in its arsenal, in my opinion, is of course the air blast. Not only it allows you to extinguish your teammates, it allows you to reflect many enemy projectiles. No, like seriously, there's like only 3 kinds of projectiles, like needles, Pomson, and the bison projectiles are not reflectable, if I remember correctly. Like only these 3, maybe. I don't really remember, to be honest. Maybe there's something more, but still. Reflecting projectiles allows you to be a menace, especially with that hitbox they made after 2017 to make it more consistent. And, well, it did make it more consistent by making it more powerful, but at the same time it allows you to reflect things from behind you. Like someone throws, I don't know, a Jarate at you, and they're behind you, but you're crouched, you are, I don't know what you're trying to do, and you reflect the Jarate on accident without even knowing it. This is funny. That's all I'm gonna say about these kinds of situations. And just reflecting is so rewarding, you know, because mini crits are just mwah, bellissimo. They allow you to do so many things. Like you can obliterate a soldier from across the map, or just, you know, you can reflect sentry rockets and one-shot somebody because there is no damage fall off, and there is plus 35% of damage on a mini crit. So what are they gonna do about it, huh? Try to survive a damage that shall not be survivable, or what? Like, the damage is insane. And not only that, you can just screw around with enemy demo man with their sticky bombs, because on one hand they have control over the sticky bomb, on the other hand, will they react to you reflecting it, or will you react to them exploding it before? This is just fun matchup, you know? Like your sticky bombs as a demo man are definitely the projectile that gives you advantage over Pyro, because you still have control over it. You can just hold the charge button and just keep the distance far enough so the sticky bomb will be armed in the air and the Pyro will suffer from it. And I know this video is mainly about Pyro. Well, not mainly, it is about Pyro. But I still wanted to talk about this particular matchup because it's kind of demo man favored. Unless you're up close, then sorry, demo man is cooked. Pun was not intended, by the way. I am not scripting this video at all. I am just rambling off of my thoughts about Pyro TF2. Also, interesting fact for those who didn't know. Projectiles reflected by Pyro do not possess the radius penalty that they possess normally. So, direct hit soldiers, stop using direct hit against Pyros. Well, okay, You should use it against bad pyros, like that's true. They will get obliterated by it. But if you, unfortunately for thy soul, thy poor soul, find a very good pyro, then you are pretty much done. Pyro has more damage than you, Pyro has better splash radius than you, better projectile speed, since the projectiles get slightly faster after getting reflected. What you gonna do about it? Just pull out a shotgun. Like, you're done. And I thought this like matchup was bad for Pyro for a long while, until I became somewhat decent. Well, I probably am rusty as hell right now, so doesn't matter. And as you can see on the footage on screen, I'm not that good, because there isn't a lot of footage where I successfully deflect direct hit, if there is any at all. But yeah. Also you can reflect like arrows from Rescue Ranger, arrows from Sniper, arrows from Crusader's Crossbow and Medic. Like, I think the only class whose projectiles you can't reflect at all is Heavy, because Heavy just does not have any reflectable projectiles. Because Scout has like Guillotine, Balls, Jar, Soldier has Rockets, of course. Pyro has Flares. Oh, by the way, speaking of flares, reflected flares take on flamethrowers. One hit amount of ticks, like not the usual full-on afterburn time of the flare gun. No full afterburn time for the flare player. Only a tiny bit, because you reflected this stuff. Only just a few ticks. Which is, on one hand, fair, on the other hand, it's probably for the same reason that the splash penalty, like splash radius penalty, does not apply to flamethrower. It's just not coded in. Because if it was, still direct hit matchup would be favorable for Pyro, because like, bruh, Pyro gets more damage if Pyro reflects your projectile, and you still have to shoot it closer to Pyro. Like, yeah, Pyro would have to reflect it into you, but whatever. If they do it, and if you stumble upon a good Pyro, they will do it. Oh yeah, you can also reflect sentry rockets, if I didn't mention it, and the Demoman's pipes. But to be honest, who cares about the rockets? And pipes are quite easy to reflect, actually, even the lock and load ones. But the loose cannon is still a funny matchup, where you either destroy yourself with your own double donk, or you get destroyed by a demo man because he can time stuff properly. Yeah, loose cannon is like the closest thing to a pyro counter out of demo man primary weapons. Oh, speaking of primary weapons, let's go to the Pyro TF2's catalog of primary weapons, and let's start with the vanilla flamethrower. Air Blasts is just for 20 metal, not metal, fuel in this case. And oh, I completely forgot to mention, we cut Medic's healing for 20%, which is actually 50, but who cares? Yeah, like 20% is a lie. It's 50. Like, we straight up got medics healing. And that's kind of funny because I never used to think that Pyro is a direct counter to medic. Well, excluding the one-shotting classes. Like, until recently. And to be honest, the support classes, according to Uncle Dane, well, Pyro, Engineer, and Medic kinda have a rock, paper, scissors dynamic here. Because Medic plus someone counters Engineer, Engineer counters Pyro, and Pyro counters Medic. Because Pyro can just air blast them the hell away. And speaking of that, and 2017, I'm so glad they changed how it works, because it used to straight up, well, not stun players, but it was very close. It just stopped all the momentum, and now people at least can move. And normal flamethrower having the lowest cost for air blast just makes it perfect for stopping pushes, just protecting your team in general, just being a babysitter. Like, it's so good for babysitting teammates in both spy checking matters, in rocket reflecting, and just projectile reflecting in general matters, and uber stopping matters. Like, normal flamethrower is so good for that. Like, it's generally the best for protecting your team. So if you treat Pyro like a support class, yeah, Pyro is a support class if you use a normal flamethrower and play the way you're supposed to, aka just stick to your team. But if you want some independence, play a little more risque game, but not too much. You can pick Degreaser and just, I don't know, you can bumble around and combo people to death, but to be honest, Degreaser is just worse normal flamethrower at this point, because people usually continue sticking to their teammates instead of comboing people to death with, I don't know, detonator and extinguisher. But okay, let's be normal people about it. People still use it for a combo pyro, and that's its purpose, like comboing with a flare gun to do flare punch, because remember, flames are lingering and stuff, you know. Okay, this video has gone on for too long, so let's blitz through it. Degreaser used to be like absolutely insane before 2015, the tough break update, but now it's pretty tame and normal. You can just use it for existing as a normal person with a shotgun and not be locked into detonator or some other utility thing, but to be honest, there is no better utility thing than a detonator on pyro, so yeah. It just allows you to be a different type of nanny pyro that can actually switch in time to the degreaser, because the switch speed to the degreaser is actually faster than it was before the tough break, because tough break basically made it almost instant in case of degreaser and the switch to degreaser speed. But switching from it is tough break kind of killed combo pyro, but at the same time not really. But it tried to, because it also nerfed extinguisher into the ground until they fixed it in 2017 or 2018, I don't remember. Was it Jungle Inferno or Blue Moon? I think it was Blue Moon, when or whenever Sketchek faked his death, because if you'll remember, there was a guy called Sketchek and he was a very cool pyro, and I think he, if I remember correctly, he faked his death, and as a tribute they made Extinguisher, actually they made Extinguisher its strongest version in history, because like, yeah, it takes more dedication and skill now, but it also gives you speed boost now, so yeah. That's fun. So yeah, speaking of actually primary weapons, the Greaser by itself was never actually a primary weapon. It was more of an air blast combo tool to screw people up, but now it's just used to make flare punching enemy pyros easier, and just, you know, to be able to have more fun with combos and stuff, which is supposed to be, because yada yada air blast rework, I already talked about it. The video should have been like 12 minutes, but it's more than 20 already. So who cares? Oh, speaking of air blast, Flog lacks air blast, but Flog has the funny mechanic called Flog cancelling, so yeah. There are like two ways to perform it. Land on enemy and hope that enemy moves under you, so you'll just, you know, stop taunting because of it, because there's no knockback on this thing. There's knockback immunity while you taunt. And here's the fun thing. Flog cancelling just makes you the most powerful thing in the universe for 2 seconds, because you are immune to knockback. You have Uber, you have crits. So it's a worthy trade-off for the funny air blast mechanic, especially if you're using the detonator or the thing that should not be, aka Scorch Shot. But I will not talk about Scorch Shot because everyone already talked about it, and I just despise this weapon because yada yada, everyone talked about it. Who cares? And also you can just try to land on buildings and make them die like right as you land on them. Like you land on them and they die because of your flames, but they have to be very low HP so you can perform the funny. But this is like the most consistent way to pull that off, especially if you're landing on a dispenser, because Sentry will probably just kill you while you're trying to land on it, and the teleporter is just very hard to pull it off with teleporter because hitbox is too small, thus there are just less flame particles that could fit into it. So yeah. Speaking of funky particle shenanigans, speaking of funny particles, the back burner. And I don't know, people who use it and know how to abuse the particle registration. The hit track on this thing is, I don't know, sometimes it feels like there is no such thing as a back hitbox, and then you face stab a person with a flame, and it's not even a random crit, even though the weapon has them, but I don't like random crits. Nobody likes random crits, let's be real. Oh, I don't know, people who know how to use the back burner are just mentally ill. I don't know, they should be locked up. The CIA should put experiments on them. I don't know. Seri, I can't speak. I am just baffled by what people can do with this thing. And if you wanna do something funny, you definitely should learn how to use this, because this is just atrocious. I love it, but this is atrocious. Yeah. Oh, speaking of atrocious, Dragon's Fury is atrocious, but for a completely different reason. Yes, it has reflect issues too, but instead of being very limited in amount, it is limited in time. So yeah, this is already horrible, because the air blast timer is so bad on this weapon, and also this weapon lacks on lower end machines, so that's already a huge problem for me. Playing on a dog shit laptop, but otherwise it's very fun to use. But yeah, the air blast is just, why it's even there at this point. This is so painful to use. But okay, let's stop talking about the bad. Let's talk about the good part. It can obliterate sentry nests. It is limited in range, but has more range than a normal flamethrower, and also the projectile deals 75 damage to buildings, because it's actually the base damage of the weapon, not the 25 that you shoot out normally at players, because versus players damage is lowered severely unless they are burning, in which case you just deal basic damage. And yeah, that means that if enemies are burning, and if you have Kritzkrieg medic, you just deal 225 damage to everyone, except buildings, of course. So that's fun. But yeah, for me, the bigger problem is the lack of normal air blasting. Like, in case of Flog, you at least can become God for 2 seconds, despite it being extremely inconsistent. But in this case, it's just painful to use. Not gonna lie. I would just limit the ammo count to make it worth. I really would just cut it down to like basically having the same amount of air blasts as not the degreaser. It already has the same amount as the back burner, just for the air blast to come out properly. But otherwise, it's so fun to use. And also, Valve, please give us the Strange Dragon's Fury. I'm gonna cry. We really need Strange Dragon's Fury and Strange Second Banana, because there's like a person eating bananas for like how many days, like third year already. Like, dude is eating a banana every day and making a video about it for almost 3 years straight. Well, not 3 years yet, but more than 2 already. Like, this is insane. Valve, give us Strange. And as a conclusion to the video, I don't know how to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Just me rambling and having random Pyro TF2 related gameplay on the screen.